We all have things we're carrying: stress, anxiety, pressure, distractions, mountains that appear everywhere in our lives. But where I see mountains, I also see opportunity, and that opportunity is to get outdoors. This is the Mountains Are Everywhere podcast. So lace up those boots, cinch down those packs, and let's head for the mountains.
Oh, there we go.
There he is. I swear that had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I had my volume dial turned all the way down.
Oh, it doesn't happen to do with the fact that I spent all day trying to make the background behind me not look like the inside of my brain.
Oh, well, I mean, you did better than I did. I took a
Well,
few
just know
boxes.
that
I took a few
just
boxes
know
off.
that from here, well, from here down and from there back is what drugs look like in the inside of somebody's brain. As my
You say,
garage is a mess.
you say it's what drugs look like?
Yeah, that's what scrambled eggs looks like all around here.
No. You said drugs. You know what drugs
Oh,
do. No, I'm
well,
just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right. Heads up, I did already start recording. So, let's see. Let me lead into this really quick. First of all, welcome to the listeners back to a new episode of the Mountains Are Everywhere podcast. And then secondly, welcome to Mr. Erik Wells. How you doing, buddy?
doing good. How are you? Which is funny because we talk like we've ever spoke before, but I think we've only talked on the phone once.
That's
But
exact.
we've probably known of each other for probably 5 years.
Yeah. So yes. First, I'm doing well, doing really well. And
Yeah.
second, yeah, I definitely wanted to mention that. So, you were, or let's see, I'll talk to the listener for a second. So Erik was, sorry, pause again. I'll just kick off with what I know about you, and then you fill in everything that you feel like the listeners should know. Cool.
Okay.
Okay, so Erik was um directly across the street neighbors with my best friend when we were all in North Dakota at the same time. I have had Hunter Heisler on the podcast multiple times, who has mentioned you multiple times on each podcast. So Erik was former active duty Air Force. I think are you reserves now?
No, I'm a DOD now.
Oh, okay. Is
I
that
still got a
better?
foot in the door.
Fair enough. So, I knew Erik for a while as the guy that shot a moose with his bow.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. And then what I learned about you from Hunter is that you are an absolute, I'll just say arrow fanatic.
I
And
wouldn't go that far.
you really,
No.
well, from what I've picked up, you know what you're talking about. And then last little bit to the intro, um, I knew you to own and operate ArrowTuningKits.com. Is that still a fact?
Still there. Probably not as active as I should be with it, but I've got a lot of irons in the fire constantly.
Cool.
But still there, still active, still selling stuff, still making orders.
Okay, we'll get into that. I'm sure at some point. And then I just want to say that yes, this makes the second time we've actually spoken. We've
Spoken,
known of each other since it had to be what, 2020 at least.
at least,
That
yeah.
I've known of you. So the way this podcast came to be is you were you doing a live on your personal Facebook or your Arrow Tuning Kits Facebook?
I am not what you may call savvy with anything. I'm the Facebook Marketplace kind of scroller. So my wife has the Arrow Tuning Kits, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook page. I don't know where I was. I just sit down and talk.
Okay. Well,
So
one way or the other, I saw you doing a live on
yeah,
Facebook, and I jumped in there real quick, and I think you were working on arrows at the time, and I was like, I'll just hang around and see what guys talking about. And we ended up, I shot you a bunch of questions through the comment section, and it led to me reaching out, like, hey, obviously I know you know a lot about what you're talking about, so you should come, or I would appreciate it rather if you'd come share that with the people that decided to tune into my podcast. And
absolutely.
then we spoke on the phone briefly last week to kind of set up today, and now
Mhm.
here we are.
Well,
So
and I think the big thing is we've known. again, Hunter is our intermediate link. We know, Matt Hemphill, all the same guys that we know, right? We were just in two. We just never crossed paths. We unfortunately, I think we would have been a lot of fun together up there, but we just never crossed paths. There's a bunch of people, all David Wood, all those guys up
Yeah.
there. We all
All the
we know
same
all the
people.
same people. We all know the same people. Everybody that you've had on your podcast that was from Minot, we've all been in hunting camp together, but you and I never got together.
It
Granted,
is.
you duck hunt, so I prefer not to go freezing and sit in a field. So
Oh my gosh, you are missing out so much.
I know what I'm missing, and I'm okay with it.
If you had tried it, you wouldn't be okay with it. I'm just saying.
I am much more of the pheasants and dove kind of guy. So
Oh, dude, I dove hunting. I love.
dove hunting is one of my favorites. Shooting ditch parrots, and I've been more successful shooting pheasants, not trying to pheasant hunt than pheasant hunting.
Wow. I
Yeah, you just go deer hunting and you see a field of pheasants on the way. North Dakota's like that. You just drive by and you see a field of pheasants and you just pull over and public. It's private land is open land unless it's marked in North Dakota. So you just shoot pheasants on the side of the road all over the place.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I miss that so much about North Dakota. And I'd say a lot of it, it's bittersweet. Like a lot of it has went away kind of with electronic posting because now if it's posted electronically, it still
Yeah,
counts. Even though I'm pretty sure they're still supposed to physically put the signs up, but
yeah.
electronic posting is enough to catch you with a trespass charge.
Yes, but I also believe that a lot of the North Dakota farmers up there just I'm sure you knocked on doors while you're up there. A lot of them are just more happy that you go and ask than to tell you yet to know.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know if I've told the story on here before, but the last house I lived in before I moved to California, I actually met because I was quote unquote door knocking for access to a goose hunting field.
Yeah.
Um,
So I got access to go deer hunting on a guy's property through getting access to turkey hunt, which meant I had to plant potatoes for a guy up there in North Dakota. So I planted like acres of potatoes for him. I got me turkey hunting, which got me a deer spot. So it worked its way itself out, but
that's solid.
most of the
It's
people, most
great.
of the people,
Sorry. We're probably
oh,
gonna do that a lot. I'm very bad about jumping over people.
oh, I think there's a little bit of a delay with my signal, so it's no big deal. But most of the people in North Dakota are just a bunch of good people. So they're pretty easygoing. California, I'm sure, is a little bit. Well, I grew up in Northern California, so I've hunted. I spent my entire hunting career starting in California.
Yeah, so I was actually, granted, I had for a long time, not so much right now, but for a long time, I had the fortunate ability to be able to hunt on base out here in California.
Hmm.
And it's 100,000 acres of some of the best wildlife habitat, maybe the best on the Central Coast. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
as far as the locals, I'll admit I came in assuming a stigma.
Oh yeah.
But when I've got out there to the bow range and met so many people that were born and raised here, like it's the same people. Like we're the same people. I was
Yeah.
very just it was awesome to find that out here, basically.
Well, so I grew up farther north than where you are. So you know where Butte County is at all?
I'm going to be honest, I have not familiarized myself with California the way I did North
You
Dakota.
heard of Chico or Redding?
I've been to Chico and I know of Redding, yes.
All right. So Chico is about 15 minutes from where I grew up. My wife's from Chico.
That's why your phone number pops up as Chico when you call me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 530. But that's the area that I grew up in. So Paradise, little town up above it. Big wildfire ran through it a few years ago. That was the one that the whole town burned down.
Oh
That
man.
was Paradise. That was right there. But that's where I grew up. So in the foothills, snow every year. The small town I grew up in, street lights turned off at 8 o'clock. We would get an alert before cell phones. You'd get an alert or something like that. You'd get an email that your parents might check that there was a mountain lion in town or a bear or something like that. So small town up there, and I grew up hunting mule deer and blacktail. So
What before I ask you about how much fun you had hunting mule deer and blacktail, what is a small town to somebody that grew up in Northern California? Just curious.
what's that?
I said, what is a small town to somebody that grew up in Northern California?
Oh, I know where you're from in West Virginia, so I know where you're going with this, and that's an ended question. My graduating class was like I think 190.
That was pretty similar. I had 170. It's pretty close.
I think we were out there. I don't know that right around 50,000, 40,000, 50,000 people total.
Okay, the town I actually came from was smaller because our high school was made up of four different feeder schools for middle schools, which is why
Okay.
our graduating class was bigger. But I was just curious, just curious.
I know, I know. No, I went through ALS with a girl that we were talking about small towns, and she said she graduated with the same 8 people she went to kindergarten with.
That's crazy.
She was from eastern Montana in the middle of nowhere. Her grandfather still did wagon trains. So
It's actually really cool.
super cool, but yeah, it's weird to think of graduating and same people you started kindergarten with
No,
at
actually,
8.
it is. Yeah.
So yeah, no, small town in the realm of San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. And then you said you grew up hunting mule deer and blacktail up there, yeah?
I did. Super weird story. We can get into it. So I grew up single mother. My dad moved back east when I was in the third grade. So I was just growing up with my mom. Nobody in my family hunted. My mom kind of took me fishing because I was a little boy, and that's what you do, little boys. But it wasn't until I turned 25 that I got a hunting license.
No.
And I got a hunting license because I had two German short hairs at the time that we just happened to have. My mother-in-law got them. They were a little bit of a handful of a dog, so we inherited two German short hairs from her, which are amazing pheasant hunting dogs, upland bird
Oh yeah.
dogs.
Oh yeah.
And I worked with a guy that grew up dove hunting and pheasant hunting and everything in California, so we just took my dogs out. I've never trained them, never took them out. I took my male out and I walked him out on like a 20-foot rope. And after doing that 3 times on a lead, I released him and I never put him back on a lead when we hunted. It's in his blood. That was what he did until the day he died. So it was actually I got into hunting because of my dog. I
Um,
didn't own any. I had a 22 my grandfather gave me, so I went out and bought a 12 gauge and I started dove hunting because I had a dog that was addicted to it. It'd be like going somebody taking you have a lab and somebody's just taking you duck hunting and your lab just being absolute awesome at it. And you're like, well, I guess this is my new hobby. So that's how I originally got into hunting was because I had a dog that was just in his DNA. So, but never grew up with it, never around it. My uncle shot a turkey one time. I remember that for Thanksgiving. I remember it was super dry. That's all I remember about it. But other than that, nobody in my family hunted, fished, really did anything. So outdoors.
it's I thought it was funny that you mentioned labs and because mine was opposite. My lab was awesome at dove hunting,
Mm-hmm.
but and she's awesome at retrieving in general unless it's a actual like warm duck. Something about something about it she didn't like having in her mouth, which is it kind of. So when I found field hunting waterfowl in North Dakota, I said I'll sell my waiter. Screw that stepping around in the mud junk. I'll hunt dry fields. But
Yeah,
she would not retrieve a bird or not a duck. She would retrieve doves. She would not retrieve a duck on dry land. But
really
if I shot over water, out she goes, swims it right back until she gets all 4 feet on the shore and then spits it right out. It was crazy.
weird.
But
You need a hunt of a boat.
I will be here pretty soon, I think. But
Yeah, well, we've got a dog. So since then, our short hairs have both passed away. They got old,
oh yeah.
but they ran them hard. One died of actually sinus cavity cancer, and then the other one died of just old age. And we
Oh,
just ended up putting her down. The North Dakota winters are rough on hips on dogs.
or
Um,
yeah, I can imagine. And then
so
I mean the GSPs. I mean if obviously you're upland hunting them, you can hunt them a little bit later in the year because they're out and active. But I had considered a GSP for a duck dog, but I don't think a duck dog in North Dakota would make it past October, like late October.
a lab, a Chesapeake, any of those big burly dogs that are built like that, yeah. Do my short hairs, they would shiver at 50-degree weather. They were
Yeah.
big babies. I had vests for them because they'd run through all the weeds and stuff and it'd cut them all up in the armpits and stuff.
Yeah.
But I knew that kept them warm out there during dove season. They were big babies. But now she is all of the spaniels mixed together. She's Rosie's maybe 25 pounds. Just the sweetest house dog you've ever met, but an absolute blood tracking machine. She found 3 deer for us last year, and
Nah.
she took to it. She is nose down, tail up everywhere she goes. And then so I started getting her on blood last year because now we live in Georgia and it's super thick like it was in West Virginia. It's just you
Mhm.
can't see 50 yards away. And so coming from North Dakota where you could shoot one and see it drop down a half a mile away to here where we'll talk about I haven't bow hunted while we were here just because I haven't felt comfortable with the thickness of terrain. Um,
Oh,
they
okay.
could they could die 50 yards from where I hunt, and I have a dog now that she's all good to go. But up to this year, this would be my third season here. Up to now, she wasn't ready, and I just wasn't ready to just ethically shoot it. I would feel ethically taking the shot, but not confident in retrieving.
Interesting. Okay, good. Just
Rifles plant them. It's much easier just to stick a rifle through something, but
drop them.
that's it. We can get onto that later. But yeah, now that we have Rosie's just a tracking dog. I still all year round I have frozen cubes of blood that I'll run through. I'll go out to some other property that's not home and
Mm.
I'll track her with blood and I'll just put frozen little ice cubes of blood out there and just let her go and we'll go for a couple miles and just let her go and go and go. But
That's very interesting.
yeah, tracking dogs. Ask Hunter because I've been on Hunter's gotten some tracking dogs out there. I don't know if you've ever been behind one, but it's one of the coolest dog playing chess I've ever seen. Hunting over dogs was awesome. I had short hairs, but a dog working the smells and the direction is like watching a grandmaster play chess. It is the coolest thing I have ever experienced.
Wow. Yeah, I've never had the I'll call it a privilege. I've never had the privilege to be behind a dog. I guess that's a good thing in that I haven't needed one.
Yeah,
I feel like if I had a dog that did it, I would probably almost just that would be my default is to bring my not just because I can't find the animal on my own, but just to
good for
watch
the
a
dog.
dog work.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something that you had mentioned behind your GSPs, and so I never got into pheasant hunting because by the time I did get a dog, I mean I still have her. She's not nosy at all. She couldn't smell a pork chop if you laid it 3 feet in front of her face.
Oh
But
yeah,
but I didn't have a dog at the time that a bunch of buddies were wanting to pheasant hunt. And I'm like, I'm not going to go out there and trudge around the cattails for 6 miles for one shot. But if I had a dog, I would simply for the just the chance to watch it because it's beautiful when a dog works. Like
absolutely.
you said, that's like I understand why that got you into hunting because it's a wonderful, just wonderful
It's
thing to watch a dog work and do what they just have instinctually.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah. So we were actually Hunter and I. We got Rosie while we were up there. Hunter and I were doing it because his labs are retrievers. They are retrieving machines, but they're too big and burly to run around in all those cattails. Well,
yeah,
Rosie's the perfect size for all those little pheasant cattail that they make all the runs through there. So we are going to send her nose in there to flush them all out and have his labs retrieve them. That was a plan. We never got there, but moved down here. There aren't pheasants in Georgia, so we ended up going the deer route, and she loves it.
I had this plan that I was supposed to go to Montana, right? And I had this plan when I got there. I was going to get a breed of bird dog that a lot of people probably never heard of, and I was going to start pheasant hunting. Have you ever heard of a small musterlander?
Nope.
It is, I feel like the most comparable dog to it is probably, um, I would say a Brittany. They're a little bit bigger than a Brittany. They're a German bird dog. They're a little bit bigger than a Brittany, but they have the same like long hair type coat, but
Mm-hmm.
they're double coated like a lab,
Yep.
and they're colored up just like a GSP.
Oh wow, that would be
Absolutely.
cool.
Oh, they're beautiful dogs, and I was hell bent on getting one when I got to Montana, but unfortunately not going. But anyways,
Uh,
sorry, go ahead.
Rosie is all the spaniels, and she is well, she's probably in there sleeping with the kids now, just hanging out. But she is all red and white, long hair, double coat. She loves the snow.
Yeah.
She just digs holes in the snow, loves the snow. The drive is there. It's unbelievable. When we got down here, I needed a job for it. So we were thinking, well, it's Georgia, so I was thinking squirrels, coon dogs,
Mm.
something, and then blood tracking. We ended up. uh, I shot a deer and she got to see blood. And so all the trim meat and everything like that just goes through the grinder. I give it to the dogs and the chicken, or the dog and the chickens and everything like that. So she eats raw deer meat, loves it, loves the smell. She's just all about it. She's not aggressive when she finds them. Most of the time, she's on a lead anyways because it's so thick. I don't want to lose her.
Right.
But she just finds the deer and stops. That's it. And it's never, it's in their blood. It's crazy to watch a dog work. It's the coolest thing.
There's some states I could be wrong because I'm slightly ignorant to tracking dogs, but I think there's some
Mm-hmm.
states that actually require you to keep them on a lead while you're trailing, don't they? Or do you?
Uh, I'm sure there. I know that there's a ton of laws, and it's you can only. I know some states are says like after the shot it has to be so many hours, so you know that it's down, or you have to. There's a bunch of laws in gray area. Georgia, I'm in a list of things I want to talk about, like
Yeah.
California, North Dakota, and Georgia hunting laws, and how different. Because I know I listened to your Monday podcast today. Um, and the laws in Georgia are the funniest laws ever. Like the hogs for pigs, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, say please don't hurt yourself. Like those are the laws in California or Georgia for hunting pigs is please don't hurt yourself. You can be in flip flops, jumping out of a tree with a Swiss Army knife at night with night vision on, and
As
that's
long as you don't,
totally legal.
as long as you don't shoot across roads or at houses, it's fair game.
Yeah, essentially, don't hurt yourself. We're 12 deer a year here.
What?
Yeah, 12 deer a year, 10 does, 2 bucks.
Dude, I'm coming out there to Georgia to deer hunt when I move.
My hunting my hunting spot is 5 miles away, and you can't shoot enough.
That's crazy.
They are everywhere. The bucks are out right now. There's little buttons starting to show up. I saw 2 bucks yesterday driving home, so they're out. Well, the weather was coming in, so they were all moving. So, but yeah, there's deer everywhere in the south. Alabama's a doe a day. So
That's crazy.
yeah, Wood said he got tired of cleaning doe. So he said he just stopped hunting because at some point you just get tired of dressing out deer,
Well,
which
if
is
you ever talk to him again, you tell him that he's just not dedicated enough because I couldn't
yeah,
imagine
yeah,
getting
right.
tired of cleaning the deer, man.
I wait until I get about three. I have a big chest freezer that I turned into a cooler,
Yeah.
like a 4x4x6 chest freezer, and I put a beer. It's actually for brewing. It's an inline thermometer in there,
Oh,
so
cool.
so I can keep the freezer at about 34 degrees, so right above freezing. So I'll stack 3 deer in there before I process them. So
Nice.
I'm not pulling out all the stuff because I process all our own stuff. I'm not pulling all that stuff out. That's a lot of cleaning and a lot of work just to do one and put it all away. So
I also process our own. But so we got 25 minutes deep into kind of the lead in there and not
I
to
didn't
not
even talk.
yeah, I want to get to first I
Yeah.
want to kind of talk about what we're going to do here and then I want to get into it. So, um first of all, thank you for listening to my Monday podcast. I so much appreciate you and all the people that do decide to tune in and
Mm-hmm.
decide that I offer some kind of value to your time. But I've spent let's see, we're in 2026 now. I spent long couple years now at spending time on the podcast talking about I 100% wholeheartedly believe that if you've never considered the outdoors as an outlet, whether you struggle with mental health or you have no hobbies or you're just you have I'll even say self-confidence or self-worth. I've found for me, I was able to find that in the outdoors through hunting, through fishing, just building confidence in myself and finding something purposeful to commit my time to when I felt like I had nothing else to do so or to do that with. Um, so I've spent a lot of time trying to convey that on the podcast. And I feel like I've got to the point where some people are going to start saying, "Hey, bro, you're saying the same thing over and over and over," which I can't disagree with them. I can only say the same thing so many times before people stop listening, I guess. And so the direction I kind of want to go with the podcast now is I want to talk about the things that I love doing, and I want to go down the rabbit holes that they can lead you down, and I want to talk to the people that know more than I do about said rabbit holes. And from what I've learned about you, and when I watched your live stream that I talked to you on, you have a greater depth of knowledge as far as arrow building goes, which is a huge rabbit hole to go down if you're an archery hunter. So
Yeah,
I want to hear your expertise on that. I want you to show us some stuff, and then wherever the conversation goes, beyond that, is more than welcome. I welcome it, and I'm looking forward to it. But before we start on that, I would like to get your opinion on finding purpose or meaning, or just using, if you feel the type of things that I'm trying to describe about the outdoors. Does that make sense?
absolutely. And actually, did I have to take notes? I'm way too scatterbrained to do things. So I'm driving home, taking notes on a notepad on the way there, and I listened to a really good podcast going to work a couple days ago. Um, my I don't know how to start this. I have a sounds without sounding egotistical. And Hunter and I've had this conversation with Hunter. Hunter, I'm sure he's opened up to you. There's a lot of things that he's done in his life that a lot of people don't know about.
Mm.
Becoming an Eagle Scout. I don't know if he ever. He doesn't share that very much because he thinks it's weird becoming an Eagle Scout. And I praise him that that was an entire adolescence thing that he did to become an Eagle Scout, which is an awesome thing. I have, not to brag, an amazing resume. World records at Bonneville Salt Flats. I worked in the robotics industry. I built subsea robots for 9 years. Firefighter, paramedic, multiple fires, multiple lives saved. I've owned and raced race cars. My wife and I have both raced race
Oh,
cars.
did you race dirt track or asphalt?
We had a road course. So Northern
Oh,
California is well known for road racing. So we
okay.
would run like Infineon, Laguna Seca, Thunder Hill, which was our local track. Autocross. We ran a car. Built engines for guys. Worked at a hot rod shop building engines. Ran an engine dyno. Worked a robotics place for 9. I worked for a robotics company in Davis for 9 years doing subsea robotics.
Was
I
it,
have a
sorry, when was that? Was that before you served or after, or?
I went through basic on my 30th birthday.
No kidding.
Yeah. And then I decided to go to fire department and then
Wait
just
a second. How old are you?
I am 39.
I'm trying to look at you and decide. I
Oh,
wouldn't.
just grossly immature. That's the problem.
No, no, like I didn't. I thought you. I mean, I would have said 35 at most. So if it makes you
Wow.
feel good, you carry it pretty well.
I've got a 9-year-old daughter. I got 6-year-old twins. My wife and I have been married since 2011.
Oh, that's,
Graduated in '05.
congratulations. That's 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I have this crazy, crazy resume of things that I've done.
Right.
And sometimes it seems egotistical to talk about them. And so I wrote down some things on here, and you mentioned them, which was funny. I suffer from imposter syndrome. Like the other day, we had a life saved. I work at the fire. So now I left active duty. I was a firefighter up there in North Dakota. Left active duty, joined the DOD, and now I work for Fort Gordon, which is an Army department, an Army base, and I work at the fire department there. So still same thing, different uniform. I wear a blue collar shirt instead of an OCP uniform. Um, I don't know. We're looked at. Everybody looks at firefighters. I did for years, thinking they were the coolest guys ever, and now I'm one of those cool guys, and I think I'm still an idiot. Like I don't know. Like the imposter syndrome. I don't. The self worth thing. Like you say, oh, you're the arrow tuning guy. In my head, it's just this guy that stumbles down too many rabbit holes and struggles through things and just tries and tries and tries and reads and research and shoots stuff into cinder blocks and shoots lots of different guns and tries just reload. I got into reloading because I didn't like the way ammunition was handling. So I went down the huge rabbit hole of reloading bullets for everything that I shoot, minus the bulk stuff. I don't do 9 millimeter or 5.56 stuff, but all the rifle stuff, I reload everything, and it's not because I'm looking for that. Actually, it's just what was out there. It's super easy to read a recipe. Reloading is just recipes. Arrows are just bullets for bows. It's not that complicated. You just have to look for what you're looking for.
But
And so,
it's such an, I don't know. I feel like I sound dramatic sometimes when I try to express my feelings towards these things, like outdoors. But it's
Hmm.
so amazing to me and so rewarding for your case. You reload ammunition. You take
Hmm.
a bear case, you tumble it, you prime it, you wait, you do the research and the math on the powder charge that you need to get such and such velocity and all this stuff, and you put all that together, and you take something that you built, and then you put food on your table doing that.
I'll do you one better because I can't stay out of my own way. I built the rifle and cast the bullets for the rifle for the first deer that I shot this last year.
That is amazing.
A 45 caliber round ball muzzle loader. I built the gun, cast the lead, everything minus patches and powder. I did. So
So why? Why'd you do it?
because I can't sit still.
Fair
On the
enough.
25th, I start gunsmithing school. I own an archery business. I found a way. I'm picking up tens of thousands of rounds of brass, and I'm going to start selling brass. I just can't keep myself still. I just got out of EMT school. I'm in confined space rescue right now. I can't. I'm a really bad habit of sitting still.
That's, dude, how do you have time to do any of this other stuff?
Well,
Not,
I'm probably a
actually, actually, let me back up because I forgot to say something. First of all, I want to say thank you because regardless of how you feel about being one of the quote unquote cool guys, as you said, your work can't not be done, and it can't be understated how important firefighting and being an EMT and public servants is. So thank you for that. Big time.
oh, well, like as I was writing this, the imposter syndrome. I couldn't. I was trying to think of the things like I don't want to speak for you, and I don't know exactly what your career field is, but I have an idea of where we were and everything.
Mhm.
How many people your age have the skills, abilities, and access to the things that you have?
I have a very good buddy who I envy his ability to see it that way because um I don't want to take up too much time explaining um that I don't even know how to talk about it right now, to be totally
Oh,
honest. But
and I know where you came from. I'm pretty sure I have an idea of where you stood in the world, at
no,
least while
no,
we were.
you definitely do. I can tell by the way you're talking, you know what it was. But I wish that I had enough, not necessarily buy-in, but I guess appreciation for what I did to see it that way. Because if I'm being totally honest, at the current point in time, I don't. And that's a lot of my problem in like understanding my place in the world, my
Mhm.
purpose. Um, I guess I don't necessarily see it the way other people do, and it's at a fault to myself. But I'm sorry, I'm going off on a side tangent here.
I think I think we all get acclimated. Everything that it doesn't matter if I'm sure Keith Richards. I'm trying to think of some of the Paul McCartney, the biggest rock stars of the planet that have ever been. Right? I'm not saying like this moment, but say Paul McCartney since the '60s has probably is on the top list of all the time.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure he hates playing guitar every once in a while, hates playing bass every once in a while, getting up on stage like, damn, another concert I got to do on a Thursday. Do you know how much other stuff I'd rather be doing? It becomes a job, right? I look at the things that you've done. I look at the things that like Hunter. I don't know if you've ever been on the phone with Hunter running an air traffic control in a tower,
I
but
couldn't.
my brain does not function at half that speed. And he'll be mid conversation. We'll be down some deep rabbit hole. He'll be like, go ahead and take taxiway 3 Tango something something something, and he's tracking aircraft coming in and all that in conversation. I can't function like that. So to watch somebody else, not to bring it back to a dog, to watch anybody or
Mhm.
anything working best at its ability is just absolutely amazing. And so, like I'm sure what you do, it's what you do Monday through Friday, right?
Right.
It's just the job you do. You don't see the importance of it. It's the imposter syndrome.
Yes.
It's the giving yourself the self worth. Um, Now, I guess tying that back into hunting, there is something about the look on your family's face when you bring something home that you presented food. Even if you didn't go out there, some of the best memories I've ever had hunting, we were turkey hunting, and I watched a whole family of ground squirrels start their day. That was
Mm.
it. We were sitting in high brush, and probably 2 feet away from us was a little den that we didn't see. We were turkey hunting. We were getting in low, and we watched a whole family of ground squirrel, like a little field mice, start their day. They get up, they're rubbing their faces. The realizing that you're this big in the whole cog of life,
Yes.
and then we go to the spiritual side of it too. The realizing that all these stressors, the arrow builds, the right powder charges, all that stuff doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's self worth and what you're worth and what you know you're filled with.
Mm.
And so I know you're a man of faith, and I'm a man of faith too. All of this stuff could go away. Like I could care less, but I know where I'm going afterwards. So like this is fun stuff to think about and to do all that stuff, but um, I don't know where I was getting on it. I was kind of tangenting there for a
Well,
second, but this is
I'll keep on your tangent. You want to know when I knew I had a problem is when,
probably
sorry, go ahead.
probably when it was the quietest.
Well, there was a moment when somebody asked me, who would you be if you couldn't hunt?
Mm,
I couldn't answer the question.
yeah,
I couldn't say, "Oh, I'm a Christian." I couldn't. I at one point I had lost that.
yeah.
I had, and I finally came to full realization, what idolatry really meant, which I guess if you talk about it specifically, idolatry is going to be the worship of we'll say a false god, like the balls
Mhm.
that they did back in,
Yeah.
but there was that moment when I was like, the I told somebody once that when it comes to me making a big decision, a life-changing decision, whether it be moving, whether it be spending money on something, whether it be who I'm going to associate with, if any of that impacted my ability to go hunt, it's over. That's what I base my decisions on. And when I realized, I don't know why it took me so long, but I realized that when God was not the first person, the first thing I consulted on a big decision. I don't know why I called him a person. I know he's not a person, but you know what I mean. When that he
Yeah.
wasn't the first thing I consulted when I had to make a decision, that's when I knew I had a problem. And
Yeah.
that was just for me to say, you're right. All this stuff that we do and that we enjoy and that we're good at can go away. And when that goes away, who are you? Whose hands are you
None
in?
of this stuff matters. This is all stuff. Um, I've been through family members passing away. You know what happens to their stuff after they pass away? It just leaves. Like that's it. Like the tripod that this camera set on came from my stepdad. When he passed away, the tripod was laying around. I have a tripod now.
Yeah.
That was his stuff. It doesn't matter. That's not the important things. Um, and sometimes like I get my best filling of the cup when it's an unsuccessful hunt because sometimes I appreciate it more.
Well, there's so many things and something that I try to educate people on that aren't hunters is there's so much more to the hunt than the kill because maybe we get painted in this light sometimes that we're just these bloodlusting animals, just Neanderthals of people out there trying to kill things. And there's so many more reasons that we're out there. And so here's something kind of cool. I'm still pursuing my bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
I just started probably the coolest class that somebody like me could ever imagine. The class is hunting and wildlife conservation.
Oh
And
goodness!
our first discussion post was, "Hey, tell us your favorite wildlife encounter or hunting story." And I was like, "Oh, which one do I pick? I
How
don't know what
much
my
time
favorite
you
is."
got, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so on that, I'm so bad about getting side tangents, but the I guess expected word count for that assignment was 250 words.
We
Mine
didn't even
was
get started.
mine was almost 1400. I submitted it. I sent it in anyways. But
Yeah.
something I said at the end of that post was, um, it's so hard to explain to somebody that doesn't hunt something
Mhm.
that can't be explained. And that
Yeah,
can't be explained is the things that I feel when I'm out there, and the thing it's all the things that are not the kill that make us want to go back there time and time and time again.
yeah. So, I don't know how old your kids? They're pretty young still, right?
I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Okay, they're pretty young still. So, my oldest is 9, and I have 6-year-old. Well, they'll be 7 in a week, so 7-year-old twins. So we are at the age. My daughter went hunting with me probably 2 years ago. I put a pop-up blind up. I think I brought a bow. I don't
Mm.
remember. Not while we were there. We were there to play with dolls and to read books in a deer blind. We saw a deer. We looked at it through binoculars. That was it. But last year was the first year that she went with me with intent to hunt. So we got her binoculars. She's got her camo. She's all warm. She's got her hot chocolate, all that stuff. And I didn't pull the trigger the first 2 times that she was there with me. I just want them to see the deer come and rut up on each other and look around. And these are the squirrels, and these are the birds, and this is the whole how everything happens. And then I think the third, might probably the third opportunity we had, we shot a deer together. We shot her with that muzzle loader, and she had the absolute excitement, the shakes, the tears, the smiling from ear to ear, the I can't get out of the stand fast enough, I've got to pee, all of those emotions, all of those things you feel, the your heart, your throat, the heart, the bottom of your soul, like all of those emotions, she got the whole wave, and that got me going through the whole wave all over again. That first kill that you ever get, and I explained to her that the most important thing you have to realize is you're taking another life.
Yes.
And it's a huge responsibility to do that. And so she is not bloodlust at all. She understands that that's where our food comes from. We have a huge garden. She understands that that's where our food comes. We had deer burgers tonight for dinner with eggs that we got from the chickens. Um,
Fantastic.
so all of my kids have been a part of every butcher of every animal. All the twins have been with me. I've shot deer with them with me, but it was the same thing. I want them to see it and I want them to feel it, because if it becomes bloodlust, you're in the for the wrong thing.
Absolutely the wrong.
So I'm doing the best I can. I started at 25, right? I was way behind the ball, trying to figure out how to hunt. And hunting is a really hard activity to get started in. There's a lot that goes into it, and that's not even the animal. So like you're going through turkey hunting right now. You're a hell of a deer hunter. Turkeys aren't the same. Like
No, they ain't.
you were talking about calling turkeys, and I'm thinking to myself, whatever you think you should do, call half of that.
Oh, dude, you should.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was out there Sunday morning. I went Sunday morning before church, and I probably did not. There was more time that I was calling than I wasn't. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a
So
problem.
call a tenth of that.
Yeah.
So a turkey, if I like back in California, we'd turkey hunt, and if I let out 3 calls, it was a busy morning.
Okay.
Yeah, way less is more.
That's a good thing to know before I go Saturday
Yeah,
morning.
write that down. Yeah, no, yeah, no. Turkeys are they're my favorite. If I could only hunt one thing for the rest of my life, it would hands down be turkeys. Um,
Wow.
they're just the best. They're so much fun. I haven't shot an eastern yet, but that's me this year. So
Wait, how long you been in Georgia?
3 years. Well, 2 hunting seasons.
Have you just not went after them, or you've actually had bad luck after them?
The property. So unlike North Dakota or California, the amount of private land and public land in the southeast this is 99 point. I think Georgia has the least amount of public land in the nation. Maybe, yeah, maybe Rhode Island or something like that. But a tiny amount of public land. I hunt all on private land. I don't
I
the
mean, it's
public
good
land.
too.
Yeah, and that's what you end up doing. There's people down here that get hunting leases and they have hunting properties. I work with guys that have leases that they've had for 20 years, or a guy that I know that work with has 200 acres of hunting land. That's what he bought the land for, was just to hunt on. and it's just a whole different. The South is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
It's almost this. They're as different as the deer are. A whitetail here is a crazy animal. A whitetail in North Dakota is totally different. We didn't have them in California, but a mule deer and blacktail is a whole different animal. The hunting down here is definitely a lot different. I've never been in a stand before. I've never even seen corn before. Like never been over a feeder. That was all new.
Yeah.
Everything was new. So I came from out west. We would get up on top of a mountain, glass, come up with a stock, play the wind, playing canyons. Or tomorrow we're gonna hike on that canyon and do that. That was how I grew. Like cut my teeth hunting. North Dakota was a little bit kind of the same, glassing them, but there was also thick areas. And then you get here and it's a jungle. So it's just all different. But this will be my 3rd year here hunting. So this year will be a whole lot different. I'm gonna have 3 kids with me or one at a time. I'm gonna have somebody with me all the time.
Yeah.
It's just will be different, but
yeah, for sure. So now that we're almost an hour, 50 minutes into this, we'll get into what we really came here for. But actually, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go take a break really quick, and I'll come back to you and we'll get started. So actually, I don't know, I'm scatterbrained right now. The whole reason, or one of the, not the whole reason, a big reason that I wanted to talk to you. Okay.
yeah.
So I feel like one, there's a lot of infighting in the
It's just
hunting industry, in the hunting world. And a big portion of that infighting as far as archery hunting goes is light versus heavy arrows.
oh,
There's
you want to take a break? I have all sorts of stuff to put on the table for you.
Yeah, so we will. I just want to preface this right before the break so that the listeners will be encouraged to come back for this. So there's some
Well, light versus heavy isn't the argument.
don't get into it yet.
Yeah.
So there's at least one person who's made a online personality around you got to hunt heavy arrows. If you're not hunting heavy arrows, you're shooting a Twizzler and blah blah blah.
Troy is
And
a friend of mine.
what's that?
Troy is a friend of mine.
Oh, I'm sorry to bag on your friend, but
Oh, he'll be the first one to bag on himself too. It's fine.
what I want to say is me and you talked on it was on that Facebook live stream. We talked about heavy arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all the discussions, arguments, whatever that I've heard about heavier arrows, you are the first person to explain it in the way that the first person I've ever heard explain it the way you did. And
Before the break, I'll give you a little cliff note.
go ahead.
Those are both shot through the same cinder block.
What that one of them looks almost perfect.
Well, they were both shot at the same cinder block.
All right. With that,
all right, now go take a break.
We're gonna take a break, and I'll come back, and then I will explain what you explained to me that intrigued me. All right. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in to the Mountains Are Everywhere podcast. If you want to stay up to date, be sure to subscribe or follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to bring you another one. Until then, you keep climbing, and I promise I'll be climbing too.